You wake up one day and feel like something's off. Not dramatic, not obvious, just a weird energy shift. Someone close to you ain't really clapping when you win anymore. That's where this starts. Today we're breaking down how to recognize someone who's envious of you. Not the loud haters, not the trolls, but the quiet, sneaky kind most people miss. The kind Stoic wisdom warned about 2,000 years ago. And yeah, this might get uncomfortable, because once you see these signs, you can't unsee them. Let's go. Envy isn't always obvious. Most people think an envious person looks bitter, angry, or straight up rude. Nah, that's the rookie version. Real envy wears a smile. It says, "I'm proud of you," while secretly hoping you fail. The first sign nobody talks about is fake support. They congratulate you, but it sounds dry. Short replies. No excitement, no follow-up questions. You tell them good news and they say, "Oh, nice." Not, "Yo, that's huge." Not, "How'd you do it?" Just, "Nice." That's not neutrality. That's emotional withdrawal. Stoics believed your real friends are revealed by how they react to your success. Anyone can show up when you're broke, sad, or struggling. But when you start leveling up, that's when the snakes start shedding their skin. Another sign is backhanded compliments. This one's wild once you notice it. They'll say stuff like, "Wow, you got lucky, huh?" Or, "Must be nice to have connections." Or, "I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's not that impressive." They can't just say, "You earned that." They gotta sneak in a little poison. That's envy trying to protect their ego. Because if they admit you worked hard, they gotta admit they didn't. Next sign is they minimize your achievements. You launch a business, they say, "It's just a small thing." You lose weight, they say, "Anyone can do that." You get a promotion, they say, "They promote everybody these days." Notice the pattern. They keep shrinking your wins so they don't feel small. Marcus Aurelius said people tear down what they don't have the courage to build. Read that again. Another sneaky one is constant comparison. They always bring it back to themselves. You talk about your goals, they jump in with their story. You share a win, they say, "Yeah, but when I did this," it's like your moment makes them uncomfortable. So they hijack it. Envious people can't sit in your spotlight. They need to pull it back onto themselves. Watch how they react when you struggle too. This one hurts. When something goes wrong in your life, they suddenly become extra interested. They ask questions. They lean in. They seem more alive. They say things like, "I knew it wouldn't last," or "That's what happens when you move too fast." They disguise their satisfaction as concern. Stoics warned about this exact behavior. They said some people secretly enjoy your downfall because it makes them feel balanced again. That's dark, but it's real. Another sign is passive-aggressive jokes. They roast you, but it hits different. It's not playful. It's targeted. They joke about your looks, your money, your relationship, your success. Then say, "Relax, I'm just playing." Nah, that joke came from somewhere. Jokes are truth with a mask on. Pay attention to what they keep joking about. Envious people also love to remind you of your past mistakes. Every time you start doing better, they bring up old failures. "Remember when you tried that thing and it flopped?" Don't get too confident you messed up before. They don't want you to outgrow the version of you that made them feel superior. They are attached to your old identity. Your growth threatens their comfort zone. Another major red flag is they copy you, but in a weird way. They start dressing like you, talking like you, chasing the same goals, posting similar stuff. At first it feels like admiration, then it starts feeling like competition. Stoics believed imitation can come from insecurity, not inspiration. They don't want to become better, they want to become you. Watch how they handle your confidence. When you start believing in yourself, they call you arrogant. When you set boundaries, they call you cold. When you stop explaining yourself, they say you've changed. Translation? You're no longer controllable. And that scares them. Envious people hate your evolution because it reminds them they're stuck. Another subtle one is selective honesty. They only tell you the negative stuff. They'll warn you about risks. They'll point out everything that could go wrong. They'll play devil's advocate every time you try something new. But they never bring solutions, just doubts. That's not realism. That's sabotage dressed as concern. Stoics taught that wise people protect their plans. Because not everyone who listens wants you to win. Notice how they react when other people praise you. Their body language changes. They go quiet. They change the topic. They roll their eyes. They leave the room. That's their ego taking a hit. They don't hate your success. They hate how your success makes them feel about themselves. Another sign is they secretly compete with you. Everything becomes a scoreboard. Your income, your followers, your relationship, your lifestyle. They'll ask sneaky questions like, how much you making now? Or, how many views did that get? Not because they're curious, because they're keeping score. And when they finally beat you at something, oh, they'll make sure you know. They'll flex it. They'll post it. They'll bring it up casually. That's envy turning into ego revenge. Watch their consistency. They're supportive when you're struggling, cold when you're winning. That emotional flip is not random. That's their insecurity reacting to your growth. Another deep one is they discourage your independence. When you talk about moving away, starting something new, or changing your life, they get weird. They say stuff like, why would you do that? Stay where you are. Don't take risks. They don't want you to expand. They want you to stay in the same box as them. Misery loves company. Growth scares the insecure. Stoics believed you should judge people by how they act when you don't need them anymore. That's where the truth shows up. Now here's the real talk part. Not everyone who shows these signs is evil. Some people don't even realize they're envious. They're just wounded, insecure, stuck in comparison mode. But that doesn't mean you keep letting them drain your energy. Stoicism teaches emotional detachment, not emotional ignorance. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to expose them. You don't need to fight them. You need to adjust your access. Stop oversharing your wins. Stop telling them your plans. Stop seeking their validation. Start protecting your peace. Move in silence. Let results speak. If someone gets weird when you win, that's information. Use it. Remember this. The real flex isn't proving them wrong. It's outgrowing their opinion completely. You don't owe anyone access to your next level. You don't owe anyone updates on your growth. You don't owe anyone comfort while you're evolving. Stoics believe your energy is sacred. Don't waste it trying to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. So if you recognize someone in this video, don't get angry. Get strategic. Distance yourself emotionally. Keep things light. Stay respectful, but stop feeding them your life story. Because not everyone who smiles at you is on your side, and not everyone who claps for you wants you to win. Final thought. Your success will reveal more about people than your failure ever will. And the moment you start rising, that's the moment you start seeing clearly. Stay sharp, stay humble, stay dangerous in silence. If this hit a little too close to home, you already know why.